Hi, my name is Ted Verani, Head of Business Development for Wappier. We offer intelligent revenue management software solutions for mobile gaming. So just quick question, like who here wants to make more money from their mobile games? Quick hands. Not everyone. That's going to be the topic of today's conversation. Now I'm going to talk about how to make more, but specifically how to make more money from your existing customers, right? And just to kind of clear the air, I'm not talking about another advertising solution. No, something completely different, right? So what is this about? First of all, maybe just why listen to us, Wappier. As far as our experiences in the company, I came from a deep monetization pricing background, but also the core founders of the company too. We've been doing actually revenue optimization for now nearly 20 years. Large-scale CRM solutions, loyalty programs, mobile marketing, specifically mostly for mobile carriers, or wireless carriers like Vodafone, T-Mobile, but also large enterprises. In addition for Subway, and along the way, what we saw and we learned that is they really care mostly about their existing customers, right? They're always trying to, so instead of trying to keep acquiring new customers in the game, they want to reward and take care of those people in the game. And they've learned that that's going to be the most effective way to maximize revenue in their company. And we tried to, package that up, present it in a more of a software solution of best practices and offerings. So we're a product company, really, not just consultants, but I'm happy to offer the insights here, also during the show. Why mobile gaming? Let me tell you this, it's huge. Right now we're talking about over $40 billion in mobile gaming as far as annual revenue. Video games is a little over $90 billion, and then projected over 100 billion in just a couple years' time. So I mean, pick your favorite analyst study out there, but regardless, it's big. But what's really interesting about that number of $100 billion is a huge part of that is gross profit. And in fact, this is astounding, more gross profit is in gaming than the automotive industry. So when you look at the capital expenditure for making a car and the complex distribution channels, it sort of makes sense, but still it's crazy. We're selling virtual goods, little bits of fun, and the profit will be more than what you'll find in the automotive industry. The other way mobile gaming is different, and what kind of got excited us about entering this market from where we were, is for the first time in history, you have a small number of people, a small company, that has been called upon to manage millions of customers, players in this case. I mean, no joke. I mean, you know that, right? So you have tens of people and then millions of monthly active users, right? Whereas, I was saying earlier, Vodafone, they use our platform, and they had just 80 people alone working on just CRM on our tool set for taking care of their customers. Again, trying to manage existing customers. And you look at gaming, like small giant games out of Finland, I think there are 36 people, top of the charts, in terms of millions of revenue and millions of customers. So crazy. And the challenge is you got to manage the same number of people as, say, someone like a Vodafone with 100th of the headcount. And you're not going to. So, and then how money's spent within gaming too is fascinating. Like marketing. When you say marketing in mobile gaming, really we're talking user acquisition, right? But then in other more traditional industries, that's just one aspect of the marketing mix right here. So the 80% of your marketing spend is bringing new people in the game. No money, no resources really spent then towards the other side of the funnel too. And that's, you look at enterprises, they spend more money than marketing on actually CRM, loyalty, engagement. And that's really the problem, the opportunity. So, the focus of game companies, as it should be, is on improving gameplay. You should be making the best possible gameplay. But still, let's not confuse ourselves here. Building a better game is not revenue optimization, right? And that's not to say you shouldn't. You should make the best possible game. You should focus on what's going to have fun in the game and what's going to move people along to where they actually want to make a purchase, to begin with. Absolutely. The best product is your best marketing element of your marketing strategy. However, it's all the other things around the product that is actually really revenue optimization. Mobile gaming publishers, it's really focused, as I mentioned, on new acquisition. The fact is that it's going to be much cheaper for you to take care of those existing customers and then continually competing with other people and the increasing cost of install to acquiring new people and then hoping they stick around for your game. Traditional marketing and automation that exists out there doesn't work. It doesn't work for the game company, and that's why really what we're talking about is why we started then as a company, to try to create an automated closed loop solution that now lets a mobile game company with hundreds of resources, now a half a person or one person can now employ the sophistication that exists out there in other industries for their customers and their game. And then too much focus tends to be on just the United States and a handful of other countries, and then wondering why I don't make any money elsewhere, right? We need to change that, because while you shouldn't necessarily put more energy on the United States, it's going to be still your biggest market, or China, whichever your focus is. But there's still money to be had, in the rest of the world. So if we want to try and encourage a focus switch here, right? We used to say that we built a software solution that helps enable that, but you can do this yourself, right? So two halves of the offer is one, build a loyalty program, and I'm going to talk more detail on that. Build a loyalty program, focus on loyalty and retention for your existing customers. So if you can improve engagement and retention, revenue will follow. Offer a VAP program that will make sense for your players, that'll do what you want them to do, which is come back more often and stick around longer. The other half of your monetization coin, pricing. If you can get the price right for your game, that's going to be the fastest and most effective way to improve revenue. Simply put, right? Just by adjusting the price. That's going to be the fastest, most effective way to improve your revenue. Now it's hard, right? So you are trying to effectively match the right price, the right time, with the right player in the right location. And that's what and then taking at the most basic level, let's do country-specific pricing, but also think about how to package up and present offer pricing that's going to stimulate first purchase, prevent someone from becoming a grinder in your game, but also to continue buying for the long term, right? And other offer pricing. Offer pricing is the best way to do that. I can talk more about that a little bit later. First, let's talk about a rewards case study, an example of a rewards program. First of all, any good loyalty program is not a one-size-fits-all approach for their customers. Really needs to be customized and personalized for not just your game and what makes sense for the players in your game, but also personalized for different players in your game, right? You want to get people, it's coming back more often to it, and so it's really got to be meaningful for them. Talk about that. There's four main components within the loyalty and retention program. First part is earning points. So you want people to come back to your game. You want to spend time in the game. So the first step is, how do you earn points, right? That's the basis of any loyalty program, is earning points that then translate. So, but initially it's challenging. It's hard in the beginning. You want to do an event mapping of your game. You want to, and we do it, but you can do this. So just take a look at what are the key activities in your game. Identify the events, and then you look at first your average consumer in this event. What are they doing day one? Then what are they doing day 3? And what are they doing day 7? Right, you map that out. And then look at not just an average player in your game, but then you look at just your payers in the game. What are they doing day 1? What are they doing day 3? And repeat. Now you're looking at your VIPs or whales or whatever you want to call them. And that's essentially, first you got to map out and to see what are activities worth in terms of points. And the next step is, what do you do with those points? You got to be able to spend points. So your core part of any VAP program, you're earning points into it. Again, think about your travel rewards program is you want to redeem points, and you want to redeem them for the things you sell, which is really nice in this case because there is no marginal cost with what you're selling. So virtual currency or virtual goods in your game. So next step is then, once what's the value of individual points, and and how does it translate into the virtual currency or the virtual items? So for instance, you're going to have you're going to say complete a tutorial is 300 points, and then 300 points, what's that going to equal in terms of gems? Similarly, complete a quest, you're going to decide that that's going to be worth 500 points. All the while looking and making sure that you're not going to be disrupting the game economy by you want to flood a bunch of free points in the game while the currency and the goods are free, but we want people to make a purchase in the game. And done right, this is going to stimulate purchase in the game. And then the user profile. right? So this is now, what is the user experience for a VIP? It's, whoops. Excuse me, I just got my order. So user experience. So, VIP program really should sit on top of your game and really separate. So you're going to have some aspects that are already in your game, like say daily login bonus that you might have. And that's fine. Continue doing that and do as you treat it. But ideally, you want to have a VIP program that just sits on top of your game, outside of your core gameplay. And in this example, you can do it however you want. But in our case, we have just a icon. You click on the icon, and that icon can be anywhere in the game. You decide, what you obviously don't want to interrupt gameplay progression, by having, the icon there. And then how aggressive you are in terms of promoting the loyalty program kind of does indicate what kind of success you have. What we've seen is about 70% of people in the game will go into the loyalty program and see what it's about. Part of the reason is we're just offering something extra. It's a bonus. It's a way of saying, thank you very much for playing my game. Let me give you something. No different than, a hotel or an airline wants to give you points for flying with them or staying the night, in their hotel. And then, but, excuse me. The other part is that you want to do with the program is you want to make sure that it's, you don't want to have a sign-up process that's created some barrier to them. Everyone should automatically be signed up. You want to encourage them to go into that, and it should not be just in their face. It should not be like a offer wall or some sort of, video ad, right? We're going to monetize in the back end by having them, have a positive experience from that. You click on the icon, you go into the loyalty card here, you can see and this is, we recommend any sort of, these are where you find offers, so, we're asking them to do certain things. We've mapped out events, activities are important. So, it could be a quest, could be a login bonus, and then there's associated points. So that's where you find out, and you want to keep that fresh. Once, 4 6 weeks, or less, you should have new offers in there for things to keep people coming back into the program itself. And then naturally, here's where you go in to find out redemption. Once you've earned accumulated points, people go in just to see what kind of points they have, right? That's even a fun element on its own. But then you redeem for gems in this case, and then you got to keep track of it in the back end. So that's experience of that. Excuse me. The other aspect is tactics. So here's an example of some of the tactics. We've pre-built these and to put them in a framework. The idea behind this is that a marketing manager, a product person, like I said, from traditional industries, should be doing this. You should not be having an engineer do this. That said, probably initially, if you're not using a platform solution like we built, I would say if you want to create a happy hour special as part of the loyalty program, make sure it's designed easy enough so now the marketing person afterwards can go in and sort of do updates to it, and change it for say, the weekend or, make a request or whatever. So we've gone ahead and built like 30 some odd best practices, tactics, built it into the framework here so that you can just quickly and easily add it within our console, A/B test it, find out what's working. And then the most important part is, I don't know if it's the important part, you got to have some tactics in there. But going further, and really what makes it sort of as compelling and valuable, is personalization, right? This is where the machine learning aspect of things going. We are creating player profiles of people, and you should do that yourself and understand what's working for one player and does not work for another player. With that in mind, you're going to personalize the, so one, like for instance, I might be motivated by a quest, someone else might be motivated more of a freebie type player because I just want to get some free points, and so having a daily, a happy hour special, this kind of thing gets me excited and is going to come back into the game, right? Again, what works for one person may not work with another person. You need to recognize that and tailor the experience for that in order to have maximum impact and effect for them. Too much minute. It works. So this is aggregated, so example of performance summary. This is it's not one game, it's 40 games, so it's an average, and as they say, your mileage will vary. But you can see, D1 retention across these, we increased by 43%. Session time per player, 55% increase. The conversion rate went up 14%. In this case, we increased transactions per payer, 25%. Average revenue per paying user, 2.5 times. And that's, I think it's easy to kind of look at that now and say, oh, come on, give me a break. How could you possibly do that? Part of it is that, it's, so one, we didn't cherry pick data. This is average, some because it was better. Going back to kind of said earlier, like if you're not doing revenue optimization, initially you should see actually some pretty, impressive impact right off the bat, from doing that too. And that's it shows in the data we compare ourselves against a control group. Again, we want to reward people, getting the existing players for doing the things you want with the game, and keep them coming back. All right, so pricing. It's the half the monetization coin. The pricing optimization, again, so we want to, again, no marginal cost here with each good. We want to find the right price for a different player. We like to think of, now, let's talk about that a little bit. We've worked in dynamic pricing for a while, and there's definitely you got to be careful with that. There's notions of fairness is important. We need to be aware of a community impact of different prices. Last thing you want is have some player playing the game and then their friend next to him is got different prices in the game. That's not what we're suggesting here and what we're doing. But a couple things that you should be doing, and one, the base level first thing is doing country-specific pricing, right? Being able to adjust your country. Now, in our case, what we did is we built it's pretty robust, predictive analytics technology. Is combined it with a econometric model, a lot of ambient databases. So we looked at GDP data, currency rate fluctuations over time. We keep monitoring that. We marry that with game statistics information. We know games on a per country basis. For genre, what works better. We look at demographic information. Individual countries. The ratio of gender as well as age within that, and all this information we take together and combine it together in what we call our wappier index. And that's what we've used to actually match what's the right in-app purchase in this game in this country. And we can do that automatically for different countries. Now, you can also do this yourself, not necessarily automatically in that way, but frankly, just do it. Lower price. Google and Apple gives you opportunity to the lower price. In some markets, even if you're just in the Big Mac index or pricing against what beer in one country costs versus another. Take a look at that and just experiment, right? A/B test and test. You can always adjust it later, right? So a little work to be done on that, but you can some opportunity. An example is this is a football manager game. We had so like most game companies, they priced it for the United States $4.99. Guess what? Too expensive in Egypt, and 80. They had some purchases in there, so certainly some wealthy people there. Translated to 88 Egyptian pounds. Too expensive. What we did is we lowered the price, but again, not just kind of willy-nilly sort of generically lowering the price, but really trying to, what is the optimal price in terms of the price elasticity in that country to where we're trying to price against the demand curve, in order to maximize revenue. So we came into 14 Egyptian pounds, translating 80 cents, dramatic decrease in price as you would against the United States. And in this example, we also did a first purchase discount. Again, we're trying to convert people. So leaving storefront pricing the way it is for the notion of sort of fairness on a per country basis, but then taking that same data that we're collecting to inform the loyalty program and creating player profiles to earlier on in a life cycle. It's very effective to give a first purchase discount for that player. We want to convert them as quickly as possible and get them to, but that's, be careful in how you do that, right? You want to, on one hand, you don't want to give, so much, such a big reward to where then they, afterwards they think, oh, it's just too expensive, right? So you don't want to think you that. Conversely, reward needs to be significant enough that they will, make the, it's got to be interesting enough to even make the buy. Right, but experiment. Experiment. You try different things with it, but it absolutely works to great effect. We bookend it also in the back end, meaning we want to try to get first spend out of you. We also always want to try to get last spend out of you. Right, so that's you're doing churn analysis. As long as you understand your player life cycle and when they're in the game, and one way is to track when they make purchases. Play, buy, play, buy, play, buy. Right. As soon as it starts getting elongated at the back end of the cycle, that you go, okay, wait, hold on a second. You might be getting bored of my game. And they're so we say they're on the way out. That's an opportunity for you to sort of let's get one last big spend out of you before you're gone. So present it as everything like it's a special offer. It's targeted for that player. but it's a big discount, but it's buying a big bundle of coins, right? So it's a big purchase you're trying to get from that person. That's also very effective. And then going further, we don't have enough time to get into details on it. Bundling. So if you're determining, you want to take. I'll check a little bit. When you want to bundle goods, you don't want to put two things that are complementary. Right? They're going to buy those two things anyway on their own, right? So you want to take goods that are negatively correlated with each other. Meaning, this player was not going to buy this, the sword with the, mace or whatever it is, you're selling together anyhow, right? You know that from the data that you're looking at. That's a great opportunity to package those two things they weren't going to buy anyway together, present it as a steep price discount. So the player gets excited. They go, yeah, that's a great deal. Let me buy that. Added to that, you're excited. As long as you're pricing more than one individual item, you're ahead itself. So great opportunity to boost revenue. As I mentioned, so this example here, Egypt, what we found is by doing the price adjustment, the results was we got a 10x increase in transactions from this game, and then the revenue increase actually was 173% total revenue. Okay, so okay, good. I have a slide on that. So here, I get the country names are removed, so I'm not totally positive which game this is, but you can kind of see, again, illustrate. So it's a complicated slide. Apologize. Somebody talk through. So green illustrates the price percent. So U.S. is baseline, so 100% would be on par with the U.S. Pricing. That's green bar there. As you can see, most of the prices is lowering, but while most cases, yeah, we'd probably be lowering price for certain countries that don't have the same purchasing power as the U.S. However, some countries we raise the price, right? I don't know which countries there are, but you can imagine scenarios to where a smaller high-income country like Qatar, Switzerland, might opportunity. Particularly if it's a game that's fairly shallow, you're not going to spend a long time in the game. Sometimes there's opportunities to raise price because they're not going to stick around for a while anyway, and get a better deal for yourself on that. And then, but more importantly, is the blue bar, which shows the actual increase in revenue by adjusting the price on a per country basis, and that's how we look at things. So dramatic increases there. Gray line. That is indicative of the number of transactions that are expected, and I like that. So now you're talking about a healthier game. Too much focus in mobile gaming has been on hunting for and holding on to whales in your game. But when they leave, it's an outsized impact in your game. It really can be hurt. So I would much rather try to increase the number of payers in my game, spread that even if it was the same revenue, spread it over more people, and you're going to have a next negative impact too. So looking closely on that and figuring out how to do that is going to be very impactful. That's what we do on an automated basis. Like I said, we have a platform. This is, we spend a lot of time building this. It's a million lines of code. We do this automated, and automatically. So we would, in fact, even setting up for Google Play is literally probably 5 to 10 minutes for us. We're going to just ingest your pricing, adjust it in a per country. Having a platform like this allows us to manage thousands of price SKUs, for individual game, per grid, and upload hundreds, for getting approval within the game itself. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do yourself, though, right? As I said earlier, just look at your monthly active users, look at your number of your revenue on it and payers in it. So there's companies where you're saying you missed opportunity. Do some experimentation. Do it Brazil. Russia. But even EU countries. So here's actually a case study. Which, and I think it's my slide, I think I'm on time, this is for NBA general managers. They gave us permission to talk about their game. Here we did is, we did it. Probably we don't necessarily do every country. We probably did 20 countries for them because it does need to have already a baseline, a certain amount of traffic and transactions to begin for us to analyze, understand the purchase behavior. But biggest increase was in Indonesia. We always see, good, if there's 300% ARPMAU increase just by optimizing price. Brazil, 88%, Turkey, 71%, again, countries like Russia and stuff. Well, also what's interesting is the EU countries. You can see it there on top because, one currency, right, for these countries, but a lot of different countries there. Generally, a lot of your Nordic countries and your Northern European countries, higher average incomes than Southern Europe too. So we always see a good impact in Spain and Italy, where they'll have a good amount of players in that country. But even Germany, in this case too, actually we got an 87% increase in ARPMAU. So that's message is stop only thinking about acquiring new customers. think about how you can best take care of your existing customers outside of core gameplay. Tactics you can do that. One, create a loyalty program, a VIP program, whatever you want to do. Give them points, reward them for sticking around in your game. Translate that to give, because by giving them points and giving them something to buy, stimulates that purchase behavior. It allows people, much in the same way that rewarded video does work, giving it a little bit of coins, people do come back, and make another purchase, so it works. And then we also have seen, another important point is, even if they're not going to buy after that, we've seen is a doubling of, or nearly doubling of, it was like 90% increase of advertising revenue. So just from people spending more time, in the game. And why is increased lifetime value? Because the people who participate in these programs are the people you want to stick around most, right? They're generally, in most cases, they already are spenders in your game. So they're the ones who get excited about this. And then other side is, don't price only for the United States and just do a currency rate conversion. Think smartly in terms of how you present in different countries, and absolutely, think of targeting personalized offers for different players in your game to convert them and make them into a payer.